All right, man, peace. You know what, brothers? The strangest thing happened to me the other day. I was driving down the highway, and I looked along the side of the road, and there was about a 6'8" brother with a headband on, and he had a long stick over his shoulder with a handkerchief bag on the end of it, and he had a Carmelo Anthony jersey on. And I drove past him, and I looked at his face, and I realized that it was Carmelo. I said, damn, the brother still hasn't been picked up by a team yet? With all these super fans that he has, he still has not been picked up by a team. All these guys tell me how great a player he still is. But there's no NBA team that'll sign him. I wonder why that is. So anyway, they're going to talk about it. I'm going to chime in.
You mentioned Carmelo Anthony as well. We, of course, have followed his season where he started as a Rocket. He's still technically a Rocket, by the way. He's just no longer with the team.
Yeah, he's a Rocket with no gasoline. You know, instead of Hoodie Mello, we should call him Warm-Up Mello, because he looks great in the warm-up.
And some of that Black Ops video.
Where's the hoodie?
Showing up. I know, no hoodie. I'm a little disappointed in that. He shared like a bat where he was like batting over and all of that stuff. Obviously, any IG video.
Now we got Rec League Mello.
Video is going to be good IG video. Everyone's amazing.
Soon going to be YMCA Mello. Then Rucker Park Mello.
In their IG video. No, what do you expect from him for the rest of the season? Is he going to lamp?
What I expect from him is for him to accumulate a whole bunch of couch potato time. All right? That's what I expect from his ass, because he's done. The brother cannot play anymore. He's finished. And please do not come on my channel trying to get upset with me. I've been telling you brothers the truth about this dude for the longest time now. And now it's hitting some of you who happen to be his fan base. It's hitting you like a ton of bricks.
Land somewhere.
So I was a glass half full with Carmelo Anthony. You know, he gave you 16 points per game with
a glass of what?
Game with OKC. He came to the Rockets. I was a believer in all of that. He especially took the role of coming off the bench. Now I think this has showed us, that whole experiment in Houston, that his role has to change. Again, if there's value for Tony Parker,
his role has to change to what? He was the 6th and the 7th man on the Rockets. So what's his role going to change to now? He going to be the number 1 water boy? He need to take his ass over to China and go play for the Shanghai Orangutans, like I said in the previous video. Because that's about the only franchise that might want him. That's if there even is such a team as the Shanghai Orangutans.
For Vince Carter, and I know Jason Terry just retired as a broadcaster now, there's still value for a guy who can give you double-digit figures. But
let me find out the Shanghai Orangutans spoke to his agent and turned him down. Ring. Hello. Yes, this is Carmelo Anthony's agent. Carmelo. We're watching him over here. Carmelo cannot play. Carmelo cannot guard anybody. I could score on Carmelo. No, we just think that Carmelo will be perfect for your team. As what, mascot? Okay, we see how he play. Bring him over. We have him play against bench warmer. If he can't score, he can't play.
But now I think it's his role in the locker room, his leadership. Like, that's where he has to rely upon. It's not necessarily winning a championship with a contender. It's more so now, you know, fading out in a most positive way, especially for your legacy.
There are executives who I've talked to who just loathe Carmelo's defense, who will say he's played his last game in the NBA.
Thank you, sir. It's not that they loathe his defense, it's that they know that he just does not fit into the modern NBA anymore. The league is too fast. He wasn't a good defensive player back when the league offenses were more half-court oriented. So who is he going to guard now?
I don't believe that, because I see things change all the time, and I do think he still has some skills that can...
You see things change all the time, so how quickly are they going to change to where Carmelo Anthony can fit into a modern NBA roster at 34 years old, 33 years old, with the body of a 45-year-old who happens to be the captain of his YMCA basketball team?
That can contribute, but he is going to be hard-pressed to find a team. There's going to have to be a series of events that happen, whether there's an injury or there's a trade or something.
There you go, Hoodie Mello. I need to see some of this footage without the editing.
Trade or something happens, but...
May I be very blunt?
Yes, please.
Please do.
There are a handful of teams in this league who are not trying to win right now. I know nobody's...
So in other words, the teams that are not trying to win should sign Carmelo Anthony. That's what you're saying, Rachel Nichols. So what does that say about Carmelo Anthony?
He's allowed to talk about that out loud, but winning is not the primary goal. It is player development, right? That kind of thing. And I understand that you then...
So we should bring in a Carmelo Anthony so that he can assist our young guys in understanding how to play the modern NBA game. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
and that you then wouldn't want to bring in a player who you'd want to play a lot. You want to get those young guys to play. But a guy who is, by the way, he has been good in the locker rooms he's been in. His teammates like him. He was...
All that's cool, but he could not make it work on the Rockets. How's he going to make it work anywhere else? Probably his best friend in the entire NBA, Chris Paul, was in their locker room. Where's he going to go? Where, number one, he's going to accept being the 10th or 11th man on the bench, which is what he would be for the vast majority of NBA teams. He would never accept that. He does not accept that the game has passed him by and that his skills have deteriorated. Skills that, in my view, were always overrated to begin with. At one point, at his very best, around circa 2005 to about 2011 or so, he was an explosive offensive player in the half court. He was never a good passer or a good rebounder. Certainly always a terrible defensive player. So where does he fit now, Rachel Nichols?
He was a class act in New York when, by the way, a lot of people would not have been if they had been thrust into that situation.
A class act in New York? I guess you're talking about in his interactions with Phil Jackson, where Phil Jackson told the truth about him, the unadulterated truth, and many of you people in the mainstream liberal sports media cannot handle it. Because he was telling Carmelo Anthony, who was delusional back then, no, you're not Michael Jordan. No, you're not even Kobe. No, I'm not going to make you the number one player on a team that I'm coaching because I know that you're not good enough. That's basically what Phil Jackson stated. Carmelo Anthony is so bugged out. Like, he really thought that Phil Jackson was going to come down from the front office and coach him, and he was going to fill in the Michael Jordan role. Like, give me a fucking break.
He was a class act walking out the door in Oklahoma City. He hasn't gone out and trashed the Rockets, even though he was in some ways blamed for problems that were not his fault. If I am a team...
He was part of every problem that they had. The team is much better now. They're just not as good as they were last year because a lot of their glue guys are no longer there. And also, let's be for real. Overall, the NBA has caught up to what the Rockets like to do.
Team who, again, let me put this delicately, whose primary objective may have more to do with what's going on at Duke right now than with winning basketball games. That's a team that I would consider bringing Carmelo in for, because I think he does have a lot to teach your young guys. And
like what, Rachel Nichols? Where have you coached where you could esteem that Carmelo Anthony has something to teach, quote-unquote, young guys? And if you're the coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers, why would you want Carmelo Anthony coaching your players when it's very clear that he has not embraced the new style of play in the NBA?
And you can let him play, and the fans would love him. He's a fan favorite.
Really? A fan favorite where? I mean, let's be for real. Most of the street ball dudes, they love Melo because they play a very similar type of game. Pass me the ball and you'll never see it again.
Favorite. And he might not hurt your chances
like what Vince Carter,
what you are going for.
Like what Vince Carter is doing in
Yes.
Atlanta right now. And I feel like
Carmelo Anthony is nowhere near as humble as Vince Carter. As a matter of fact, Vince Carter actually, I think, the reason why he refuses to retire is because he's having the best moments of his NBA career right now. Because there are no expectations. See, Vince Carter had all the talent in the world, but he could not deal with the pressure of the expectations of being the new Michael Jordan. That's where Kobe Bryant not only passed by Vince Carter, but lapped him. Kobe wanted all that pressure. He loved it. He reveled in it. Vince Carter could not handle it. So he loves being a 21-year vet in the NBA where nobody expects him to do anything. He can go out there and average 10 points a game and before the game do some reverse 360s and everybody can say, wow, Vince is 41 years old, still doing that. That's what he likes. Carmelo does not want to do that. Carmelo still thinks that he's the same guy from 2009.
3-4 years from now when the Hawks are rising again, they'll be like, I learned that from Vince. I learned that from Vince.
That's beautiful. Yes. That's value.
Right. That is also...
That's one of the things that the Sixers didn't value during the process, was having a guy like that.
Right. It makes a difference. All right. Earlier...
But anyway, that's basically it on that. We'll see how things turn out with Melo. And if I'm driving down the road again and happen to see him, maybe I'll give him a ride. Because from what I understand, Lala's about done with him because he can't get signed to a team. So I don't know. We'll see. All jokes aside, I hope that everything turns out well for the brother. But this should be a cautionary tale to a lot of cats out there. We have to be very self-aware, because if you're not self-aware, the rug can be pulled out from right underneath you. So anyway, peace.